Welcome! You are in the right place if you are a woman in business, because today I am going to talk about one of the 3 major mistakes that 99% of women make in sales. Dun dun dun. Sales is a loaded word. It means so much to so many people. And when you're working with the public, or you're working business to business or business to consumer, there are so many ways for it to go wrong. Getting in touch with the client, meeting the client, getting on the phone with the client, being on the phone with the client, closing on the phone with the client, or even having them sign the dotted line if you're meeting face to face. Or what about once they are a client, how happy are they? Are you continuing to nurture the relationship so that every time their bill comes, they're like, yes, I'm so excited that she's a part of my group, or that she's offering me these services? Or are they like, what does she do again for this amount of money? Right? Or if you're offboarding clients and they're not giving you any referrals, they're not giving you testimonials, or if they're not renewing with you ever. There's so many places for sales to go wrong. So no matter where you think you might slide off the rails, these 3 tips are going to help you. My name is Renee Hribar, and I've been in sales for 20 years, teaching thousands of newbies how to connect, how to make the most out of every opportunity, and how to continue to make friends and money online. So whether you're selling consulting services or products, this is a place that you're going to want to subscribe. This is a series, and today is one of 3 of these major mistakes. So let's dive in. Number 1, this is huge, and it's going to sound crazy. Build a rapport. We've heard this 1,000 times. So what does it mean? Well, let's get down and dirty. Let's roll up our sleeves and talk about what building a rapport actually means. Number 1, you have to see the person. Now, when we're dealing face-to-face, this is not hard. But when you're dealing with the planet internet, it's very easy to forget that there's another human with a heartbeat on the other side. A heartbeat, kids, a house, a mortgage, a car payment. You know, they've got laundry, they've got dishes. Are you seeing them, or do you only see them like a wolf sees a big piece of steak, you know? You gotta really think about, am I seeing them? So here are some ways you can make them feel seen, especially when you're working online. If you're dealing business to business, it's very easy to know that these women have a profile. LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. They might have been a guest on a podcast, so look them up on iTunes. They might have their own podcast. They might be a blogger. They have a website. Are they on Huffington Post? If you look them up, chances are you will find something that they've posted and created. So let's take this as an example. Let's say they're a podcaster, and you download one of their podcasts and you listen to it. And it hits you. You're like, man, that was awesome. Send them a message, review their podcast, and tell them how you feel. So many podcasts have a call to action and an offer. Take advantage of it. Get to know them. See them. And then when you connect with them, you're not just the wolf looking at a juicy piece of steak. You're a person looking at another person who's doing something great, and you're complimenting them on it, and you're being sincere, and you're being genuine. Now, if the podcast that you listen to doesn't hit you, then use something else. It has to be genuine, and it has to come from a place of sincerity. So when you're building a rapport, you're starting by seeing them where they are, so that when you connect with them, when you reach out and make that first initial message, whether it's a DM, whether it's a personal message or an email or a phone call, you have something to talk about other than, this is what I have for sale, right? Because, we've all been on the receiving end of that, and that is no fun. That's part of why sales gets a bad rap, because we've been the victim of so much bad selling. You're not going to do that. You're here. You're learning how not to. So when you finally connect with them, you're talking about what they're interested in, and you're noting how you've seen them and complimenting that throughout whatever you could Google, because everybody's Googleable. Then, as you're on the phone, bring it up again. Talk about more of what they've done, what they deem important, and listen and steer the conversation so that they get the chance to talk about themselves. And when you're on the phone with them, as you build a rapport, here's a great ratio. They should be speaking 80% of the time. Them, not you. I know so many salespeople that are like, I can't wait to tell them my thing. And so they go, blah, blah, blah. Finally, somebody's willing to listen. And they get on their soapbox and they just start talking. I mean, you've been on the receiving end of that, right? How do you feel? Not good. So good salespeople have a lot of good things to say. Great salespeople ask great questions and allow the other person to talk. And that's all a part of building a rapport throughout the entire sales process. Continuing on to the closing them so that it makes sense to them. What's important to them? So speak in terms of the results in their framework. You're going to know what their frame of reference is because you have looked them up. You've taken the time to see them, to be the person that is a guide, not just I'm going to fit them into this square peg because that's what I have to sell. Make sense? You like these voices? Okay. So you're going to want to subscribe because there's definitely more to go. So as you move on to the rapport throughout the sales process, when they're your client, know their birthday. Send them gifts. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a new car. It could just be a note, a handwritten card. It could be a postcard from your city or from wherever you visited. Just that little bit of seeing them, of connecting with them as a human means so much. That's all a part of building and continuing the rapport so that when it comes time for them to renew and or refer and or give that testimonial, they're like, yes, why wouldn't I? She was amazing. She served me in so many ways. In fact, most of the time, they might not even be able to verbalize it, but what you were doing the whole time, building that rapport, was you were making them feel seen and heard. And so many of us lack that in other places in our life, and you can deliver. So if you love this, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Don't miss out on the 2 more mistakes. Oh, they're so major that 99% of women make in sales. See you soon.